Breaking tonight, angry fallout after the administration's new effort to contain allegations that veterans are literally dying from problems with the VA healthcare system. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. In just the last few hours, the House passed a bill called the VA Management Accountability Act, a measure that gives veterans, the Veterans Administration Secretary, Mr. Shinseki, the general, the ability to fire whoever he wants if they deserve it. A bill the White House has not said it will sign, and a bill General Shinseki opposes. Why? Because the real intent of this law is to get some action from the VA on a scandal that has exploded in the last month, with allegations of desperate and sometimes deadly waits for medical care at more than 24 facilities across more than half the states in the Union. Here is the President addressing this issue this morning.
Once we know the facts, I assure you, if there is misconduct, it will be punished. I expect that full report from Rob next month. We have to find out, first of all, what exactly happened, and I don't want to get ahead of the IG report. I want to see what the results of these reports are, and there is going to be accountability. I am going to make sure that there is accountability throughout the system after I get the full report. I am going to do everything in my power, using the resources of the White House, to help that process of getting to the bottom of what happened and fixing it. But I'm also going to be waiting to see what the results of all this review process yields. I won't know until the full report is put forward. I want them punished. So that's what we're going to hopefully find out from the IG report as well as the audits that are taking place.
So he's waiting for the report. But there has been a report, multiple reports, in fact. Indeed, back as far as 2008, President Obama was reportedly informed of case backlogs at the VA during his transition to the White House. His team was informed, according to the Washington Times, which received a memo pursuant to a Freedom of Information Act request. By 2010, the administration was told of problems with VA staffers gaming the system and specifically acting to hide wait times. It wasn't just, oh, we knew about the backlog. They knew that people were messing with the books to cover up the backlog. They had been warned specifically, don't trust the numbers being sent up to you by the VA facilities. And yet what did they do? They appear to have trusted the numbers. The GAO, Government Accountability Office, addressed this in a 2012 report, noting that schedulers at 4 VA medical centers hid actual wait times, fudged the numbers, and backdated appointments to meet timeliness goals set by department headquarters. The goal was not to make the books look better. The goal was to make the system better. For months now, the House Veterans Affairs Committee has been pressing the VA for answers on this. And then in April, news broke that as many as 40 veterans may have died at one VA facility alone in Phoenix, waiting for care that would never come. A story the President commented on just once before today when Fox News pressed him on it. And when the Commander-in-Chief spoke this morning, here was a part of the message he wanted us to take away.
Even as we get to the bottom of what happened at Phoenix and other facilities, all of us, whether here in Washington or all across the country, have to stay focused on the larger mission, which is upholding our sacred trust to all of our veterans. Taking care of our veterans and their families has been one of the causes of my presidency, and it is something that all of us have to be involved with and have to be paying attention to.
Joining me now, California Republican Duncan Hunter, a member of the House Armed Services Committee, and Pete Hegseth, a Fox News contributor and CEO of Concerned Veterans for America. Both of them are veterans of the armed forces. Gentlemen, thank you both so much for being here. And so the President ends his remarks. The President, whose administration is under fire now for the facts as I just laid them out in that intro, lecturing the American people on the sacred trust we're supposed to have with our veterans. Pete, let me start with you. Has he ceded the right to lecture us on that, given what we've seen in the news in the past 6 weeks alone?
He has. His press conference today was a breaking of faith with veterans. He stood up on that podium and said nothing for 45 minutes. Stood up there and talked about accountability while holding nobody accountable. Talked about preserving promises while waiting for yet another investigation from a political appointee who is very good friends with Eric Shinseki, who somehow is going to get to the bottom of this. It is truly offensive to see someone stand up there and talk the way he does. Today was a tale of two moments. The morning where there was a press conference from this president where he said nothing, and an afternoon where Representative Hunter and Jeff Miller and others in the House stepped up and had a historic vote to start holding VA accountable. That's what real leadership looks like.
Something that the president has not committed to signing, Representative Hunter, that General Shinseki appears to be against. Why do we need a bill that allows Secretary Shinseki to start firing people? That's the kind of bureaucracy that operates now in Washington. You guys have to pass a specific bill that we have to get President Obama to sign in order for them to start firing incompetents.
It's incredible. And this should get everybody angry, because these are your fathers, daughters, sons, brothers, people that have sacrificed for this nation. And to see the president pull this baloney, every single government organization is run like this. Believe it or not, every single one is run like this, but nobody dies, so we don't hear about it. That's the only difference. I mean, this is what government bureaucracy brings you, and probably one reason that Obama doesn't want to fix this too badly is because this is what Obamacare is going to look like in about 10 years. This is government-run health care. This is how it's done. It's not compassionate. It's bureaucratic, and this should make the American people angry, and I think it is.
Pete, the president says he needs to wait for a report. Meanwhile, veterans are dying. The VA has admitted that these wait times has at least affected the care of at least 23 dead veterans. So they admit that it's affected the care of at least those 23 who died, not to mention the untold others who are just waiting and still hurting. Okay, so now we still need yet another report. You've been following this for years. We know that the White House was warned years ago that this was an issue. What has brought it now to critical mass? The fact that now we have documented deaths?
It's two things. It's now that we have documented deaths, we have veterans literally dying while on secret lists, and then you have corroboration. It's not just Phoenix. The scandal started in Phoenix, then it moved on to Chicago and Texas and Colorado, and then New Mexico. Now the IG is investigating 26 facilities, Veterans Affairs facilities across America. This is something Eric Shinseki knew about, and if the president had his fingers all over this, if he really has been a vets guy from the beginning, he would have known about it and would have pressed on it. Except the only solution he talked about from the podium today and has ever talked about is spending more money. So there's no doubt this administration is spend more money at VA, but if you send more money at a bureaucracy that isn't using it properly, you're not going to get better outcomes, which is why you've seen the backlog go up instead of being slashed, like the president said, and you've seen wait times go higher, months and months and months, for basic things like colonoscopies and cancer screenings, because this president hasn't actually tried to fix the problem.
Representative Hunter, the president says that our veterans should not become a political football. And yet almost instantly his critics came out and said, where was that attitude back when you were running for the presidency?
That's right.
And there was mold at Walter Reed, and you went on and on and on, making that a political issue. Is this or is this not a fair issue for voters, not just the American people, for voters to consider in evaluating the competence of our commander-in-chief?
Absolutely, because the president is showing here that he couldn't even run a race. If you can't run one bureaucratic government organization like the VA, now you see where all the other things like the IRS and Benghazi and places where he pleads ignorance all the time, that he read things in the newspaper. That's what he is. But we all knew that he wasn't an executive. He was a politician from Illinois, not an executive, and this is what you get when you elect people to run things that don't know how to run anything. This is what we get here.
Megan, you better believe this is a fair issue. This is about leadership and competence, and whether you believe government can fix problems or the free market can.
Gentlemen, thank you both for your service and for being here.